Alright, let's open this up and see what's in the box. We've got the timer itself, instruction booklet, and that is it. So, efficient packaging. Thanks for that. Today I'm going to take a look at this, the BN-Link 24-hour digital timer with repeat cycle and countdown programs. This little device was sent to me for review purposes, so let's check it out and see what it can do. When I was first contacted about making a video for this product, I was really curious as to what you need to know about a timed switch. Well, it turns out that this thing has a lot of options and a lot of different things that you can do with it, so it is worth knowing how they work. It comes with an instruction booklet. This thing is 18 pages long, so there's a lot of stuff that you can do with this. I'm going to go through some of the basic operations and the ones that I find most useful, and we'll do that by starting with setting the time. So as you can see, I've got this plugged into a power supply right now. If we disconnect it, it's going to retain anything that's programmed in here already. So there's an internal battery for backup, which is going to be great, of course, if you have a power outage or something like that. If we look here on the left-hand side, we'll see there are a couple buttons. There's CTD and there's R. R is for reset. And in order to reset this thing back to factory settings, if you want to remove all of the programming that you've done, we can take something like a SIM card ejector. And as soon as you press on this, you'll see on the display, it's going to show you some lines. And then we're going to go back to the factory defaults, which is going to be noon. From here, I'm going to set up the current time, and I'm going to go ahead and plug this in so it'll stay nice and flat for the camera. This is the easiest part of this. Setting up the time is going to be the mode plus the hour or the mode plus the minute button. You have to keep these held down, and if you take your finger off one of them for too long, you have to start all over. So just hit both buttons at one time. You can rapidly scroll through the hours here, or you can just do one digit at a time. I'm going to set this for 11:50. Again, mode and minute together. We'll start scrolling through. And if you want to go slower, you can just go 8, 9, 10. So we're at 11:50 and the clock is now set. Now from here, if we want to set up our timer, what we're going to do is use the timed button down here. If you long press this one, it'll bring you into one of 3 different schedules. You can see there's a number 1 down here. We can actually do 3 different separate timers on this thing. So what we're going to do in this case, we don't have to use the mode button anymore. You can just hit the hour. And again, I'm going to go to 11, let's see, we'll do 11:52. So I'll give myself enough time. And I'm also going to plug something in here so that you can actually see when this turns on and off. So 11:52, and then we're going to have it shut off. If you hit the time button here, this will scroll us down to the bottom. And we're going to go to 11:53. Whoops, I missed it there. So let's go back around. And 53 is what we're looking for. To slow down a little sooner. Okay, and then if we hit timed again, this will bring us to the second schedule here, which we're not going to use. We'll just keep scrolling through here and you'll see that we can get to the third one. Now, if we hold the time button down for a few seconds, it'll bring us back to the main screen, but we don't actually have the timer turned on yet. You see down here where it says off? We're going to use the mode button, long press it several times basically. So the first time we hold this down is going to bring us over to the continuous, and we're going to hold it down again. That's going to bring us to another mode that I'll show you later. And on the third time that we hold this down, it will bring it to the current schedule that we have set to start at 11:52. I'm going to plug in this little light right here and turn off these lights so maybe you can see it a little bit better. And we'll time lapse this so that you can see that 11:52 this turns on, and then at 11:53 it will shut off again and default back to this timer to reoccur 24 hours from now. Alright, so that schedule has been completed, and as you can see, it's set to turn on again at 11:52 tomorrow, and then again it'll shut off at 11:53 until we make changes to that schedule or turn it off. And we can do that just by holding the mode button down. And now we have no timer set. Now another interesting feature on this is the cycle mode. Now what does that mean? Well, basically you can set this thing up to continuously turn on and turn off with different time intervals. And in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and put the light back on here so you can see when it starts happening. But what we're going to do is hold down the cycle button. That's going to take us to the programming screen. And you have a couple different options here. we basically can either have hours and minutes or minutes and seconds, depending on how fast you want those intervals to take place. So if we hit the mode button, that'll switch us between the two. I'm going to use minutes and seconds so that this thing will go on and off really rapidly. You could leave it for a minute, for 5 minutes, an hour, whatever that interval is going to be, up to the maximum. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the minute button, and I'm just going to put 5 seconds here. Okay, so we're going to have it turn on for 5 seconds, and then I'll hit cycle to go down here, and then I'm going to have it turn off for 5 seconds. Now again, you can have these don't have to match. These can be any increment you want up to the maximum. And from there, I'm going to hold down the cycle button to exit. And then I'm going to hold the mode button down to enter the cycle program. Okay, so you see the 5 there at the top. What's going to happen now is we are immediately in that cycle program, and this is going to turn the switch on and off every 5 seconds because that's what I set it to. And the whole time it's telling you over here what the countdown is for the next change in the power status. All right, so if we want to exit that, I'm going to hold the mode button down again. And now we're back into the programming section of this. Okay, so now we're back at the main screen. And now we can just have regular time on that final press. One other thing I want to throw in here that's very helpful to know, if you just want to use this as a regular switch, you don't want to deal with any of the timer stuff for some reason. Let's say you just say, you know what, I want to override everything and just turn something on or off. If you hold down the minute button from this screen, long press, that will turn it on. You can see it's indicated on right there. And then when you want to shut it off, you just hold down the minute button again, and you can turn it off. The always on function will override any of the schedules or timers that you have already set up. Remember, if you want to go back to using those options that you programmed previously, you'll have to go back and manually turn this one off. For anyone who has a phone or tablet that they leave plugged in all the time, this device will prevent the battery from being constantly charged, which is bad for your device. You can also use it for something like power cycling a modem that's having intermittent connection issues, turning off appliances that you don't want left on during certain hours, coffee makers, lights, space heaters, hydroponic systems. For just about any small appliance that plugs into a wall outlet, this will do the trick. So this little device is just packed with features. It's probably got like way more than I'm ever going to use, but based on your purposes, you might find a lot of them helpful. There is a slight learning curve to the instructions, so I hope that you found the video helpful as far as the operation goes. But overall, this is definitely something that I do see myself using in the future. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.